Hare Krishna. Okay, so we're reading from chapter 2, verse 48. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya sitya sityo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. But Krishna tells Arjuna that he should act in yoga. And what is that yoga? Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme by controlling the ever-disturbing senses. Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme. Unfortunately, our mind concentrates on material things. Even unconsciously, even when we are chanting, when we are supposed to concentrate on the Supreme, our mind very easily and notoriously just gets concentrated on material things. Now, and we can't say that we are doing bhakti yoga because we are actually not concentrating our mind on the Supreme. Controlling the ever-disturbing senses. Now, senses are always disturbing. Every sense is pulling. Each sense is pulling us in different direction. Is ever disturbing, as is very evident. And mind is the biggest, the master of all the senses and the biggest distractor. So we have to think about this. How do we concentrate the mind upon the Supreme? Actually, samadhi means all the time constantly thinking about Krishna. Right? And if suppose say we sit, one is during chanting, but now suppose say we sit and say, okay, next 5 minutes, I want to think about Krishna alone. So, Krishna Janmashtami is coming up. I want to think about Krishna's birth, Krishna's appearance, Krishna's pastimes. For the next 5 minutes, I want to only think about Krishna. It's so difficult. That is why this whole process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, right? If we want to do Mananam, though that is the ultimate goal, to think about Manmana Bhavam Adbhaktam Adhyaji Mam Namaskuru. But for us to kind of train ourselves, we are training ourselves through Shravanam and Kirtanam. Because when we are hearing, so for example, like, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, we discuss Bhagavad Gita, our mind doesn't go anywhere. Mind is simply focused on the topic on hand and, is thinking, hearing, etc. Mind doesn't go anywhere else. Right? Or Kirtanam, when we are doing actual Kirtana, right? Like, singing loudly. Because we are generally used to this kind of activity where, we sing, so it's something that we are used to. And so the mind very easily doesn't rebel. But chanting is something which is very unusual. It's not, we're not used to doing it. So our mind rebels and it simply, goes and gets hooked onto every small little material thing we get onto, thinking about it. So we should understand that this is the goal eventual, and that is why Srila Prabhupada said keep chanting all the time, because by chanting we force ourselves to think about Krishna. Now, even if suppose say out of 10 namas that we are chanting, even one round we are thinking about, we think about Krishna, then that is good. So this is the focus, right? To concentrate the mind upon the Supreme. And of course, we know that the senses are ever disturbing. So for which Krishna actually further in the Sthita Prajna verses, he talks about this. We will talk about this ever disturbing senses then. And then Prabhupada is saying, who is the Supreme? Supreme is the Lord. And because he himself is telling Arjuna to fight, Arjuna has nothing to do with the results of the fight. So this is again very important, because Krishna is saying here, abandon all attachment to success or failure. But unfortunately, we only work, our only focus is success. We want to succeed. Everything, whole world is behind success. And of course, different people have different measures of success. right? But one who is a devotee of Krishna, he has nothing to do with the results. Success or failure doesn't matter. So when we are engaged in the service of Krishna also, we are trying to preach. Okay, nothing, no results are coming. Okay, Krishna's desire. We put our effort sincerely. We don't know for what reason Krishna is not, making the result manifest. That he who knows best. But we should have faith in Krishna and then just go on, sincerely, like Srila Rupa Goswami says, Utsaha Nishchaya Dhairya, enthusiasm, determination and patience, and not worried about gain or victory. Arjuna is simply advised to act according to the dictation of Krishna. See, this is very, very important word, not direction, dictation. The following of Krishna's dictation is real yoga. And this is practiced. And this is practiced in the process of Krishna consciousness. So if we are practicing Krishna consciousness, that means that we should be following Krishna's dictation. Dictation means like who dictates? Like, general or a military commander dictates. Now, when there's a dictation, there is no scope for, escaping or doing whatever I think, etc., etc. No, or like, we say some instructions I like, some instructions I don't like. No, this is not dictation. Dictation means 100%. Either we are there or we are not there. Prabhupada is saying this is practiced, following the dictation is practiced in the process of Krishna consciousness. So if we are actually doing Krishna consciousness means that we should be following Krishna's dictation, which are his instructions in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, etc. and of his devotees. By Krishna consciousness only can one give up the sense of proprietorship. Just each of these statements are so deep, right? By Krishna consciousness only, Ishavasyam idam sarvam, Ishopanishad says, because Krishna is the owner of everything. So what is the question of proprietorship? Proprietorship means I own this. No, there's no question of I owning anything, me owning anything, right? Because it's all belonging to Krishna. So one has to become the servant of Krishna. If he's a servant, then how can he become a master? So that is our problem in the material world. We are supposed to be servants of Krishna, but we are trying to be masters of whatever tiny little possessions that Krishna has himself given us. We think we are the masters of that. So Prabhupada is saying that being a servant is the right way to discharge duty in Krishna consciousness. So even if we are practicing Krishna consciousness, if we are not in this servant mode, that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, right, Trinadapi. When will we become Trina? When that thought process will not come into us at all if we are thinking we are the master. So we have to become servants. This is very important. And servant means becoming servant of servant. Dasa, 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 anudasa. That is why accepting a spiritual master, surrendering unto him, dedicating our life to, fulfill his instructions. Because Krishna's instructions also means Krishna's devotees' instructions. So if Krishna's devotee give instructions, then that also is like Vyavasayatmika Buddhi we discussed. Right? That is the right way to discharge duty. Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and as such, he is participating in the Varnashrama Dharma. Kshatriya. Kshatriya means Varnashrama Dharma. It is said in the Vishnu Purana that in the Varnashrama Dharma, the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. Whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. So Varnashrama is not some caste system for some selfish ends, right? It is to satisfy Vishnu. Why? Because Vishnu has laid down that whole system, and when we follow the system, we are directly following Vishnu. So then he will be satisfied. And the idea of Varnashrama Dharma is anyway for gradual elevation, progress towards Vishnu, because in Varnashrama, all these things that Krishna is talking about in terms of first, we fixed to a duty, a prescribed duty, where we don't have option to keep changing. Okay, this didn't work out. Okay, let me try something else. No. Okay, I'm a soldier, and there's no question of changing job, right? I'm a carpenter, I'm a carpenter. I'm a farmer, I'm a farmer. I can't say, okay, I'm going to leave this company and join that. Nothing, right? Like there's only one, there's no option. It's just one dharma, and that we stick to that vritti, and we work without results, without anticipation of results, expectation of results, offer the results to in Krishna's service, and thereby we start to understand that I'm not the proprietor, because I am not holding anything. I am just using whatever is coming as a result in service of Krishna. So what is the question of owning anything, right? So automatically also we become detached from the fruits, we become detached from possessing anything, and that is why this varnashrama is so powerful, because it is setting that culture wherein one realizes saying that it doesn't belong to him, and then slowly becomes more detached to material things, and then starts thinking, okay, once we are a little bit detached, tolerant, then we can think, okay, why am I here, what am I supposed to do, what is the goal of life? All these questions can even arise. Otherwise, we're just stuck in material sense gratification. No one should satisfy himself, as is the rule in the material world, but one should satisfy Krishna. So we can see how what the situation is in the material world today, right? We are completely opposite to Krishna's dictation. So unless one satisfies Krishna, one cannot correctly observe the principles of Varnashrama Dharma. Somebody might say, okay, Varnashrama Dharma, I am Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. But the central focus needs to be to satisfy Krishna. So very important, this dictation, right? So we should understand that we are here to follow and not invent or, our own process, etc., etc., right? Krishna has given a process, and we should simply, and Prabhupada has so mercifully, helped us understand what it is to be, follow these instructions and in his purpose, and we should try to understand and try to incorporate this. And this is yoga. This is yoga. Yoga means following Krishna's dictation. Please remember this. Okay, anybody has any questions?